Knicks family, what's poppin'? I'm back. Glad you came back and joined me here on the post-game analysis. We're going to get to talking about the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. They went into not double overtime. They went into overtime. Trae Young still had his way with the Knicks. The Knicks were able to pull out the victory this time, but that's not the story of the night. That is not the story of the night. So we're going to get to the story of the night. You can see it right down there. Here, right there. The NBA season suspended, ladies and gentlemen. The NBA season was suspended. Here is the notification from the NBA. So if you're just joining me, I did do this just a couple minutes ago on a whole other video. But that's okay. We're going to talk about it again right now. The NBA suspended the remainder of this season. The NBA to suspend the season following tonight's games. The NBA player tests positive for COVID-19. The NBA announced that a player on the Utah Jazz has preliminarily tested positive for COVID-19. The test result was reported shortly prior to the tip-off of tonight's game between the Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder at Chesapeake Energy Arena. At that time, tonight's game was canceled. The affected player was not in the arena. The NBA is suspending gameplay following the conclusion of tonight's schedule of games until further notice. The NBA will use this hiatus to determine next steps for moving forward in regard to the coronavirus pandemic. And that player, ladies and gentlemen, was Rudy Gobert, who tested positive for COVID-19. And bad news for the Knicks, man. The Knicks just played against the Utah Jazz not too long ago. They lost. But it's very likely that during that time, Rudy Gobert was positive for COVID-19. And he came in contact, the New York Knicks players came in contact with Rudy Gobert. I'm hoping for the best for everybody. But it is very likely that he was tested positive when he played the New York Knicks. We'll see what it amounts to, man. The NBA season is suspended. I'm pretty sure all of the players are going to have to be tested. And I see Arturo Ramos, you said Emmanuel Mudiay as well. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. This won't be the last time that a season gets suspended. As a matter of fact, some of you guys know that I call games for the basketball league. It's called the TBL. I call games for that league, and all of those games have been suspended. The remainder of that season has also been suspended, and they're going to have a tournament at the end of the season. Or they're going to have a tournament this I think Thursday through Sunday, and then the season is done. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot to talk about tonight, man. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it. The NBA suspends the season due to player being tested positive for the coronavirus, and man, it's craziness. Let me get to these guys over here in the chat. I'm gonna come to Guillermo. Spoke to Isaiah already. Let me get to these guys over here in the chat. I'm coming to Guillermo. Guillermo, I'm coming to you, man. Spoke to Isaiah already. I'm coming to you. I want to get your opinion, man. I'm coming to you, man. Guillermo, what's going on, man?
You got three things playing. I can't. It's hard to hear you.
What's going on, man?
You got three things playing. I can't.
Hold up. Let me. Yeah, I got you. I already know what it is. Okay. My bad, Guillermo. My bad. I had you confused. I was looking at you and I was like, why is he looking confused? He does this every night. All right, go ahead, man.
I was just saying, you sound like DJ Clue, man. You got to chill with all the echoes in you ain't nice like that, man. Nah, but it was good, Sim.
I'm good, man. I mean, it's a crazy night. Crazy night.
Yes,
in
it
the NBA.
is. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. In my own world, I think it's a little overblown. I think guys will be fine. The majority of people that they're saying are dying are people with like respiratory issues, guys. People who are really old. So I think that what's name's gonna be fine. I think he's uh, gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Wait, Sam, is your thing doing that again? Hold on. Let me see.
Nah, that's somebody else back there. I
That's
think
Savvy.
that's
My bad.
Savvy.
To me, Savvy. Yeah. So unfortunately, this happened. It's coming off, a NBA season that I think that even though the Knicks, sucked this year, the storylines between the Clippers and LA or the Clippers and the Lakers would have been really cool to see. So yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Hopefully these guys they're better. They're healthy. The whole sports world right now is kind of like just in shock. But I'm saying shock, but again, we have to keep a level head. Don't let the idea of a pandemic, the pandemic basically be the panic. Let's not all panic. I see people buying masks and stuff. And, the thing with the mask, guys, is that, once you touch the mask or take it off and put it on your table at home, whatever, you have the virus on you now. So unless you have like a hazmat suit and then you go through one of those, it was like a caustic soda type of bath or some crazy crap before you go into your house, it's kind of hard to avoid this stuff. So, just be clean, wash your hands after you use the bathroom, that stuff. But,
Right. And with the thing with the masks, with the masks, it really only helps if you are infected, so that you won't infect somebody else. It's not going to stop you from getting infected, really. But it's crazy. It's crazy. I've been concerned the last couple of days about my AAU season, right? Because listen, when you're in an AAU tournament, you're talking about a gym that has 10 courts in it sometimes, and every court has 2 teams playing on it. So you're talking about a relatively small space to have thousands, 1,000 people in there. You know what I mean? Touching arm to arm sometimes because it's a tight space. Sometimes you got 2 gyms, sometimes you got 4 or 5 gyms or courts inside of one gym. And I feel like a lot of these tournaments are going to be canceled.
Right.
Like I said, that TBL league, you were going to call that league, that's been canceled for the remainder of the season. They're going to have like a one and done type of tournament to finish off the season. I think this week, I think it's going to start Thursday. It's going to go Thursday through Sunday so that they can finish that season off. The NCAA, they were they're planning to have games without the crowd, right? Without fans.
And they're still going to, I think they're still going to do it, right? I haven't heard anything different.
What'd you say?
I haven't heard anything different with regards to that. I think they're still going to do it.
They're still going to do it. As a matter of fact, the Nets and the Warriors played tonight without fans.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird, but in a weird way, outside of the actual effects of I was watching because I'm big into soccer, right? And I was watching the Juventus versus Inter Milan game, and I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm very interested in hearing guys like call out plays and communication and stuff like that. It sounds very corny and nerdy, but like that's the only upside I get, really, because like I was watching, and you can hear people shout, scream out, things of that nature. So that's the only positive I find from any of this. I just find it interesting that there's almost like these guys are running through practice and you can basically hear everything, which is kind of cool. But other than that, obviously the disease itself or the virus itself is terrible. I would never wish this on anybody, or obviously if we could have this stuff eliminated, I'd rather have that stuff eliminated than versus me being able to hear stuff on a freaking.
Yeah, definitely. But it's crazy, man. It's once in a lifetime event happening here that you're gonna remember for years and years to come, I guess.
Yeah, I hope we all can look back on this and be like, yeah, what were we panicking for? This wasn't as serious, blah blah.
Hopefully. I see H_ said 401ks are declining. Yes, stocks are declining. I've lost some money and I'm not happy about it. But
there's a pension crisis as well too.
Huh?
I said there's a pension crisis on the way too, and I don't want to get into this. I got my own theory. Me and Gomes have been politicking, man.
Yo, man, listen, man. I mean, with this happening tonight, Tom Hanks, him and his wife got it. This happening tonight, the president stopped any travel from Europe into the United States unless you're an American who's been tested and you're negative, then you can come back, but you can't go in or out going to Europe, among some other things. Stocks are going to be looking bad, really bad tomorrow. Really bad. Stocks going to be bad tomorrow. So, I don't even want to think about it, man. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's crazy. It's definitely crazy, but anyway, the Knicks did play tonight. Obviously, the Knicks game is overshadowed by the happenings tonight. But they did defeat the Atlanta Hawks in overtime after having a 22-point lead, though. Right? They had a 22-point lead, and then they gave the game back. You know what I mean? They gave the game back. They held a 22-point lead, and they gave the game back. What are you going to do? I don't know. R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, they hit big shots. Both of those guys hit some big shots. But they managed to pull it out. They managed to pull out a win the last game of the season. You know what I'm saying? I mean, talking about the game, breaking it, doing a game recap kind of seems senseless, kind of feels senseless at this point, right? But I'll do it just because, that's what we do. But it kind of feels senseless, with everything that's going on, and everything that happened. But I'm going to go ahead and get down to business, and I'm going to do that, and then we can get back to talking about, this, because I know Isaiah and Gomes want to get their piece in here. You know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section. All right? So make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Ring that notification bell right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's break down this game. Let's do a little game recap and break this thing down. All right, the Knicks played the Hawks tonight and let me get this right up here for you. There we go. Good. The Knicks played the Hawks tonight in Atlanta, right? And they won in overtime. You remember the last time the Knicks played the Hawks? They went in a double overtime. Trae Young, he scored 41 points and killed us. Won the game for the Atlanta Hawks. Wasn't that way tonight. He still dropped points, though. Trae Young still dropped buckets. But the Knicks walked away with the victory tonight. The Knicks had a 23-point lead. They gave the game back to the Atlanta Hawks, ladies and gentlemen. Right, they gave the game back. They allowed the game to go into overtime. The second game in a row, the Knicks had a 18, 20-point lead versus the Washington Wizards. They let the Wizards come back and win. They had a 23-point lead against the Hawks. And they let the Hawks send it into overtime. The Knicks had 47 rebounds tonight. The Hawks, 53. The Knicks, another night with a lot of assists. Now, they're playing, they played a team that doesn't have a good defense. Just like the Washington Wizards don't have a good defense, the Atlanta Hawks don't have a good defense. But they had 32 assists tonight. 14 steals, 9 blocks, only 12 turnovers. The Knicks shot 53.2% from the field. They shot 39.3% from the three-point line and 73.5% from the free throw line. The Hawks tonight, again, they had 53 rebounds, 26 assists, 6 steals, 3 blocks, and 17 turnovers. They shot 45.3% from the field, and they shot 34.1% from three, and they were 80.8% from the stripe. Let's take a look at the box scores. All right, for the New York Knicks, the Knicks were led by Julius Randle tonight. Julius Randle had 33 points on the night. All right, he was 13 for 22 from the field. He hit a couple of big shots down the stretch. He pulled one that was pretty bad, but I forgive him because he made some tough ones. But he pulled one that was pretty bad, down the stretch of the game. I think it was a fadeaway along the baseline. Yeah, short corner baseline that it was, to me, was an ill-advised shot. He was just feeling himself because he was hot and he was hitting shots, so he was trying to take it upon himself, which was a bad move. But anyway, he had 33 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 turnovers. All right. RJ Barrett, he had 26 points. He was 9 for 14 from the field, 2 for 5 from the three-point line. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 turnovers and 2 steals. Mo Harkless had 14 points tonight. He also had 6 rebounds and 6 assists. Taj Gibson had 9 points and 3 rebounds. Elfrid Payton had 11 points and 12 assists. Mitchell Robinson had 16 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Frank Ntilikina followed up his 20-point outing, his career high 20 points, with 8 points tonight. He was 1 for 7 from the field, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Kevin Knox, he had 12 points tonight. He came out and played aggressive in the first half, dropped a couple of buckets in the second half. Bobby Portis, he had 7 points, and Wayne Ellington, no points. Reggie Bullock, Damian Dotson, and Dennis Smith Jr. did not play. So on what turned out to be the last night of the NBA, at least for the foreseeable future, Julius Randle, 33 points. RJ Barrett, 26 points. For the Atlanta Hawks, DeAndre Hunter, he had 15 points, 6 assists. John Collins, 22 points, 15 rebounds. Dwayne Dedmon had 6 points. Kevin Huerter, he had 8 points and 7 assists. Trae Young, he had another 42 points and 11 assists tonight. Cam Reddish, 11 points. Jeff Teague, 15 points. Bruno Fernando had 2 points. Treveon Graham, he had 5 points. Vince Carter, seeing what is possibly his last game in the NBA, had 5 points. Brandon Goodwin and Damian Jones did not play. But that's basically the story of the game, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a lot to see here, not a lot to talk about. The only thing we can do now, look, the offseason starts early for us. So I guess we could talk about the offseason. And we could talk about, the Knicks seeding and in the draft and whatever's going to happen with the draft. I'm sure there's going to be a draft. There may not be people at the draft. There may not be fans at the draft. But there'll still be a draft. But now, the draft is not until June. So now we got from now until June, what are we going to talk about? Of course, we're going to talk about the coronavirus. We'll probably get some interviews from Julius Randle and RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson and Frank Ntilikina and Mike Miller. The coaching search is going to start earlier than expected. So there'll be some things to talk about. We'll do a lot of draft talk. Talk about coaches. Talk about the GM. Then the draft will get here. Talk about that. And hopefully this thing is cleared up by the time we get to the offseason, to the true offseason. We'll have free agency and all that stuff. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't know. It's crazy. It's craziness right now. Make sure that you join me, though, ladies and gentlemen, because I am doing a front stoop after this show. Doing a front stoop about 11:55, and we're going to... 2 days ago was March 9th. Of course, you all know what March 9th is. That's the date that Biggie passed away. So we're going to take a look at the album, Life After Death. We'll talk about it. Where were you when that happened? What were you doing when that happened? We're going to take a look at Life After Death and talk about it. Some of the guys that I got in the chat, they might be too young to even talk about it, but some of you guys, you'll be able to talk about it. Let me get back to these guys, man, and see what's popping, see what's going on. Feel free to call in, 516-405-2246. All right? Feel free to give me a call. Guillermo, what's your take on tonight's game, man? Hold on one second. My bad. I had you muted. Go ahead. All right,
my bad. A few things I took from tonight's game. One thing, I love what we did with Trae Young in terms of sending that high double team up top, right? When he was getting hot, especially when he was getting hot, we did not allow him to basically try to be to the basket one-on-one anymore. We kind of double team it, whether it be Frank and Peyton or Frank and not Frank and Payton, excuse me, Mitch and Peyton. Mitch and Payton or Mitch and Frank. And it was really impressive what we were doing. Like, we were disrupting him up top. That's how he got a lot of those steals, right? We saw how he's getting hot at the end, and we kind of disrupted that. So I was really happy for that. I like the way that Frank played. He played ultra aggressive. I hate the fact it's against the Atlanta Hawks because it's Atlanta Hawks. But look, if this is a trend, look, he had 20 points last night. I couldn't watch the game because I had a game. But I was really impressed. I'm impressed with the fact that maybe Frank is starting to get it to be this not ultra, but to be this aggressive guy. Even when he wasn't scoring per se, there were some beautiful passes at the beginning of the third quarter. That pass to Mitchell Robinson down low, where he kind of dribbled it in traffic and then did like that little looping pass with his right.
Mhm.
I said, wow, that is a beauty. And that's the thing about it. I've always said, Frank, you don't necessarily have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to be, oh, you're scoring and you're aggressive. You have to push the game inside into the paint. You got to make compromise the defense, and literally you're gonna have the shot, you're gonna have the floaters, you're gonna have the little the layup or whatever, and most importantly, if the pass is there, you're gonna have an easy pass to guys like Mitch. Like Sim, tonight was so beautiful watching that from Frank. So I was really happy for him. I thought RJ Barrett, don't remember his numbers, but I do recall him having a fairly good game, especially going to the basket, using his strength, being ultra aggressive. Um, Randall to me tonight kind of hurt. Oh, and also I got to give Knox his credit. As much as Knox has been maligned this season, he did have a decent game. I saw him shoot a few threes. He still there was one play where he was like kind of going for the ball and like bobbled it still. So he's still having little jitters or whatever. Look, it's only one game. I'm not going to go excited, crazy for Knox, but he has to be more. He has to continue to be consistent, right? Keep playing the good defense, rebound, push the ball, make the right play, even if you're not scoring, because you can help your team to win, regardless if you're scoring or not. Help your team to win. So I was happy with that. Randall tonight got reprimanded so many damn times. Just didn't come out on the three-pointer that John Collins hit a few in his face, and it's just that laziness. Now you saw a few plays where Randall. I think Randall had one really good block. No, it was a block, but then it was a foul after because he kind of wrapped his hands on a guy. I think it was Deadman, right? So it's things like that. I'm not really mad at that. So it's not as if he can't play defense; he can do it. But the fact that Collins and some of these other guys had so many open threes, and it was Randall who wasn't coming out and challenging those threes, it's just like, dude, there's been a running theme all season, right? And for you to ever become the next level player, you have to be more consistent on defense. I don't care who it is. If it was Randall, if it was Knox, if it was RJ, I'll say the same thing. Even tonight, RJ, another nights, RJ's been playing some bad defense at times. So I get on everybody, but it's just with Randall, it's just so glaring. So look, it is what it is. Like you said, it's not really much to take away outside of some things you see from the young players. It's not like Mitch is shooting now or something like that. But I'm happy to see that Frank was more aggressive. Happy to see RJ continue on his path of being a consummate driver to the basket, good defender, good all-around player. But yeah, my biggest takeaway was just basically Frank. His game tonight, I was really impressed with him being ultra aggressive, even though he didn't score a crap load of points. But
Yeah.
Isaiah, stop sleeping, wake up, man.
I hear you, man. It's kind of even hard to talk about it, but it is what it is. We're gonna talk about it anyway. Like I said, front stoop, man. We're gonna review that Biggie album. Take my mind off.
Tim is really depressed, man. I feel you though.
Take my mind off it. Yeah, man.
It's gloomy, man. Yeah.
It is gloomy. Gomes.
Go
ahead. No, go ahead, Guillermo.
No. I was just gonna say, just for Gobert, it sucks because he seems like such a good dude. It's like, come on, man. Like Gobert, like. But please, yeah, get to Gomes. Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. Gomes, coming to you, man. What's going on?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, everything's good. It's a good morning here in India. So,
Okay.
What I wanted to say about the game today is basically that Randall and Peyton are literally the people who are destroying the team. Like, even though they have stats to back up that they're doing something, they are the people who are actually destroying the team. Because if you see in both the games, back to back games, we had more than 15 points lead, and the moment Randall and Peyton stepped in, the lead almost went away. Yesterday it went away, today it almost did.
I mean, not almost
So
dwindled. It dwindled.
we just need to get rid of these people, and we just need to have a fast flowing offense. See, this is the problem with the Knicks. Kevin Knox needs to be G League or whatever, has to be determined after giving that man 30 minutes a night. If that guy plays 30 minutes a night for 40 games and after that he hasn't improved a lick, then put him in the G League. It doesn't matter because we don't have enough players to play in our main team itself. We are not the Raptors or OKC or a team which has five established starters, three bench established people. After that, okay, if a rookie comes, he's good, he can come in or not. So we don't have that case here. So we need to give like at least 1,200 minutes before telling anything to a person in a season. But we are not we did not do that because we had so many stopgap free agents. And still we continue to have them and they are the detriment to the team.
Okay. How is it out there with the coronavirus, man? How is it over there? How are things?
Yeah, and about the yeah, here it is, yes, the panic is there because what like the news and all 24 hours it's all about corona. And also in India there are like 2 3 places where there has been quarantine sanctioned, etc. And a couple of big public events have also been cancelled. So here also slowly the fear is being percolated, but we are Indians, we have been through a lot of things, so especially when it comes to hygiene and health. So because of that, at least we are a bit of a less panicking nation in that manner.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you're safe, man. You be safe, and hopefully everybody over there in your country is safe. Let me get to Evergreen. Evergreen, what's going on, man?
Going on, man. That was an abysmal win.
It was up 23
That
points.
that yeah, that was abysmal. I'm sorry to come on so late, but I'm actually driving right now. But that was an abysmal win. Um, it was actually a game that I was expecting to lose. Because I don't know if you remember earlier, I came out and when we finally got the 18 wins, I said I was gonna be happy. With where we're going with this 18 wins is showing progress, and Isaiah is snoring so loud right now.
Leave it to
he is
Isaiah.
snoring, he is snoring so loud right now. No, like I gotta mute him because that's like really distracting. All right, so you remember I said before, once we get to 18 wins, like that I'd be happy because we're showing any inch in progress is better than where we were at last year. So I actually looked at the rest of the season and projected that we'll be able to get 7 more wins. Um, and from that point, we lost that Charlotte game, which I was expecting that to be a W. Then I was expecting us to lose the Houston game, but we won that one, so that made up for it. And I was actually expecting to lose both the Wizards games and the Hawks game. So when I say it was an abysmal win is for multiple reasons. The first reason being that for whatever reason, I don't know if you guys know what benign neglect is, but that's definitely what's happening with Dotson and Trey right now, and I'm so frustrated with seeing it. Because I'm really super hopeful for these two guys. As well as we blew that big lead and we weren't even supposed to go into overtime to begin with. So I'm extremely frustrated, just like Gomes just said, in regards to Randu and Alfred Payton and their high usage. I think I can't remember if it was Guillermo that said it a couple weeks ago that they have like between Payton and Randu when they're both on the floor, they have the ball like 39% of the time or something like that. Like I can't remember where I heard that stat from, but it's just like it's so ridiculous that these two are the only ones that are like feeding the ball to each other. And it took for Randall to really get into some hacking plays that he had of being on the offense in the paint for him to finally pass the ball out to RJ for an open three. And I was like, man, is that what it takes for him to get hit before he realizes that he needs to give the damn ball up? So all in all, now we're one game ahead of my projection of games that I think we were supposed to win. So I'm happy about that, but it's just like, man, like at the expense of not being able to see Dotson and Trier play and get some experience, not development, get some experience up under their belts. That's just it's just ridiculous that those two are not playing. It's like you have options with the guys on the next contract, right? You have options, and these two guys' contracts are getting ready to end, and you have a decision to make as to whether you want to keep them or not. Now there really is no damn decision because look at the worst that just happened, right? Like we have no more season for the season is suspended indefinitely right now because of the coronavirus. So it's like now you really can't get you a nice sample size to figure out what the hell you want to do with Dotson and Trier. So I'm a little down when it comes to that. But I'm still the guy that's talking Knicks fans off the ledge and being optimistic and trying to keep your head high for figuring out what the heck Leon Rose is going to do in all aspects, coaching, player signing or acquisitions. There's been talks about DeMar DeRozan. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Oh God, who's talking about that?
Chris Paul. Man, listen, you got to get on the other Knicks pages, man. There's a whole bunch of stuff going around talking about DeMar DeRozan. It's a possibility that he's gonna not gonna re-sign with San Antonio, and that there's been talks about Leon Rose potentially wanting to go after DeMar DeRozan. So I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. Obviously, the Drummond talks are still there. The Chris Paul talks are still there. But I guess you guys, Knicks fans, y'all are hearing it first from me. The Knicks are talking about potentially getting DeRozan. So keep your ears for more bullcrap rumors. But all in all, it's an abysmal win. So I don't know whether to be happy or to blow my brains out. So whatever.
Don't blow your brains out. Whatever you do, be anything else but that.
All right, I got you.
Anything else but that, man.
I'm here for y'all Knicks fans. I'm here for y'all Knicks fans. That's it.
So the one thing that was enjoyable about the game, if there's anything, is that we got to see Vince Carter knock down that last shot, his last shot, possibly his last shot as an NBA player. Right? We got to see Vince Carter knock it down. So as it was found out that it was possibly going to be the last play that Vince Carter would ever make in the NBA, fans were chanting for Vince Carter because the NBA is suspended over the coronavirus. As you see Vince Carter right there, he was just talking to RJ Barrett. Vince Carter takes the ball out of bounds, gets the ball to Trae Young, and the Knicks, they just let him go. And Vince Carter launches up a three and knocks it home. You couldn't see it on the screen. And maybe I'll have to try to fix that for you so you can see it on the screen. But Vince Carter knocks that one home, ladies and gentlemen, to end his career, at least on some kind of an up note, as he knocks down that three to send his career home. That's crazy. Not how you planned it, I guess. Vince Carter playing his last game versus the New York Knicks, playing his last game tonight. I don't think he planned to play his last game tonight. Maybe it won't be. Maybe, after testing everyone in the NBA, maybe nobody will have it, or maybe just a couple players will have it and they quarantine them and but once players are tested, I don't know. There's probably gotta be some kind of a grace period for about 14 days because that's about the amount of time that someone will start to experience symptoms. So who knows, man? I mean, from the way that I see it, we're probably not gonna have a season. This season is probably going to be done, and then hopefully they can start fresh next season, depending on what happens over the summer, man. Who knows? This is uncharted territory. Definitely uncharted territory. Guillermo, do you think there's any chance that this season is revived? Hold up, Guillermo. Hold up.
I'm muted. Sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
I was muted.
All right.
I think it's gonna be pushed by the networks. So think about all the major networks, right? What comes into the summer? You got baseball coming in, and then you got football. So I don't know what does ABC cover. Like I'm just thinking about ABC, ESPN. ESPN covers football. So I'm thinking they might just delay this and push this more into the summer. But again, I don't know if there's any kind of like soft truce between the networks where it's like, hey, we run this here, you guys don't run, your sport. They have their separate times and stuff. So I don't know. Would they push it? They might just delay it. I don't think it's. I don't think it's canceled. Look, God forbid, but if Rudy Gobert died, then that would be all right. We probably got to cancel this and rethink about everything. If he comes back healthy, Moutier comes back healthy, nothing's wrong with these guys. I think they might just delay it and basically kind of end this more deeper into the summer than anything else. But obviously, it's gonna probably interfere a little bit with baseball. And if it goes that deep, I don't think it's gonna go that deep to interfere with football. But who knows? Just is weird. But I think a lot of the pressure is going to be on the networks to kind of push us and make their money, right? They don't want to lose out on potential ratings and things of that nature. The storylines, Giannis versus LeBron, LeBron versus Kawhi Leonard. So I think it might just be delayed unless it's like a major death.
Okay. All right. It's going to be interesting to see. So, or maybe we, end up not coming back until the playoffs or something like that.
Only thing is that you still would have to play it out because I don't know how close the 8 seed and the 8 and the 9 seeds are right now on both sides, but I would assume some team would probably be pissed. But what are you saying? Like to cut? Well, I guess they cut the 99 season was cut.
If you ended here, right? If you ended here, you just say, hey, wherever you are while we're ending it here, that's who's in the playoffs.
I guess I'm not saying it won't happen. It's just I'm just trying to think of the precedents, right? So I guess 99 was the last time, but that was like a strike shortened season. That was just the season started late. It wasn't cut early per se. But again, these networks got a lot of power, man. They can push these guys to play. Obviously, look, if it's a pandemic where it's truly people dying and stuff, obviously no one's gonna play. But if it's just hey, nothing's really happening to these guys, they just have it. You know what I mean? Only thing that I can think about though is that if the network and the leagues are pushing it, where does the NBA Players Association come in? Because if it's like, hey, I don't want to get this disease, or we didn't agree to get, I didn't agree to play with these guys and possibly get the disease, it may affect me differently. You might have some issues on that front. So there might be some pushback if the networks are like, hey, these guys are fine, and teams are like, hey, these guys are fine. They checked out, and the NBA PA is like, well, we don't agree with this. We don't want our guys getting sick. So maybe have that, but
yeah,
it's tough, man. I've never been through a pandemic or let me say pandemic. I've never been through this before, but
it's been labeled as a pandemic. So
only thing though, I will say this. They're doing it with soccer. Empty stadiums might just be the way to go, man. Make sure because put it like this: if Rudy Gobert's sick, I would assume all those other guys have it as well too. I don't know why he was tested by himself. I don't think did he show something weird about himself? Like, why was he?
I don't know. Maybe he had symptoms and he said, hey, I need to get checked.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put the mic by my mouth. Does that sound better, chat? Sorry about that.
Yeah, maybe he had symptoms and just decided that he needed to get checked,
I guess. But then Moutier has it too. I don't know, man. Yeah, it remains to be seen, man. It's a big old question mark, man.
The crazy thing is that the symptoms, like you don't know. The symptoms are just like the symptoms of the flu or a cold or a head cold. It's a respiratory infection.
And the only positive light, as terrible as it sounds, is that the majority of people who are passing, the most affected, are the oldest or the people already with respiratory systems. And it's like, well, if you gave them the normal flu, would they have survived that? If you gave them pneumonia, a lot of people, older people, would not survive that. In China, in northern Italy, where they had some cases, I'm not necessarily sure that medical help is as readily available or as advanced in some of these places where you see, a lot of older people passing away, right? So, because they said there've been like younger people who've gotten it and they're fine, right?
Right.
People have gone online and said, hey, I got it. I was quarantined here and there and I was fine. So,
right. Right. I mean, for the most part, most people that get it will be able to manage their symptoms and almost like getting the flu. It's those people who have, and it may not, and for some people it may not even be. It may be very mild. But for those who have those respiratory infections, it hits them hard. So who already have respiratory issues, it hits them pretty hard.
And the thing about it is that this sounds crazy, but when it comes to viruses like this that aren't like on set, as soon as you get it, you die, right? You would want people exposed to it because so they can develop their immune systems become adapted to it, right? Because we are, as you know, COVID. We probably have. If you check our body, we have so many viruses in us that our body protects us from. You know what I mean? So it's just. I'm not saying go out there and inject people with the coronavirus. I'm just saying that the exposure might help. As crazy as that sounds, right? So these people already been spread. They just said that the Jazz have just been quarantined. The Jazz players have been quarantined. So look, all in all, I think people are gonna be fine. I just don't want people to panic and start rioting or that it go to that level. I don't think it is. I just think a lot of people are confused, but we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, and what probably, I don't want to say probably, but it seems like it's community. It's in the community now, so it's probably going to be very, very hard to contain. And you would think that what's probably going to happen is it becomes a common sickness, like the flu is a common sickness or a cold is a common sickness, becomes a common sickness, and you learn how to handle it, and there you go. But
Joe Curry said great NYC is affected by another Frenchman, Agent Zero type. You guys
boy.
You guys know how to find humor even in the worst situations, man. Salute to you guys, man.
I guess you got to be able to do that, right?
What is wrong with y'all, man? All right, I have nothing really.
But if this is literally the end of the season, let's take a look at the playoff picture. Right now in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks, they're on top of the Eastern Conference. They are 53-12. The Toronto Raptors and the Boston Celtics. The Bucks, the Raptors, and the Celtics, they all clinched the playoff spot. So they're 1, 2, and 3. Then you got the Miami Heat in the 4th seed, the Pacers in the 5th seed, the 76ers in the 6th seed, the Nets in the 7th seed, and the Orlando Magic, they're in the 8th seed. On the outside looking in is the Wizards in the 9th spot, the Charlotte Hornets in the 10th spot. The Wizards are like 5.5 games behind Orlando. They probably weren't catching them. And then the Charlotte Hornets are like 7.5 games or 7 games behind Orlando, and they probably were not going to catch the Orlando Magic. So if they did decide to come back for the playoffs, I'm thinking they wouldn't come back for the season. They would probably just suspend it. I think they're going to meet tomorrow, so we'll find out. But they'll probably, I'm thinking they'll suspend it and then come back for the playoffs if things are good. And then they might even come back for the playoffs and have the playoffs without anybody in the crowd, which would be very dull. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll say this, man. I just wanted, outside of Kawhi Leonard, if Kawhi Leonard wasn't going to beat if they weren't going to beat the Clippers, if the Clippers weren't going to beat the Lakers, I want to see Giannis versus LeBron, because this whole MVP stuff, man, I'm tired of the LeBron James narrative that, this guy is such a great MVP, and it's like, dude, you needed AD to be this effective. I just, I want Giannis. I want this to be the year that he's validated amongst all these media clowns who, they try to say and create all these storylines. Like I heard Rachel Nichols, she said, because of the whole Kobe thing is why, that should factor into why LeBron James is MVP. I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? It's just these clown media types who just use this stuff. So I just want to see Giannis come and establish himself, because again, Giannis is still not considered really. I don't think he's really considered a superstar by the league, man. Which is, when I say a superstar, he's not considered like the marketable, that type of guy. And I think he's a personal guy. He loves playing for his team, even though you're hearing rumors here and there. He talks. He's eloquent, talks really well, smart dude, humble dude. It seems on a court, he's an animal. The NBA needs that, man. I'm tired of LeBron narrative. I'm done with it. It's cool. Kawhi Leonard, if he's healthy, this guy only plays like 25 games a year, as great as he is, which is just, he's going to be the only Hall of Famer with like the least amount of, the Hall of Fame with the least amount of games played. But yeah, It just sucks that I don't want another year that LeBron gets older, and then next year if it's the same thing with Giannis and LeBron, then LeBron is like 85 years old, so it's like stop. So
yeah. Now let's take a look at the Western Conference. In the Western Conference, the Lakers, they're on top of the Western Conference. They're 49-14. The Clippers, the Lakers are the only team in the Western Conference that clinched a playoff spot at this moment. The Clippers are 44-20. They're the second seed. The third seed, the Denver Nuggets. Then you got the Utah Jazz, the Oklahoma City Thunder, which was those two teams were gonna play tonight. You see why it was such a big game. The Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Memphis Grizzlies. The Portland Trailblazers, they are 3.5 games behind the Memphis Grizzlies. And then you got Toronto. They're also 3.5 games behind the Grizzlies. And the Sacramento Kings are 3.5 games behind the Grizzlies. So, that race, that eighth speed, that race for the eighth seed could have been up for grabs. But if this is indeed the end of the season and they decide to still have the playoffs, these would be the playoff brackets. So we'll see how that goes, man. I don't know.
Wait, who has the AC on the West you said against him?
The Memphis Grizzlies.
Memphis. All right. Oh, damn.
Yep.
That would be, I think they would be a fun team to watch, man. But they would have the Lakers, which is like,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they have the size.
Anyway, man, look, I'm going to head up out of here because I'm going to get ready I'm going to prepare for this front stoop. All right, we're starting front stoop at 11:55. So, make sure you guys join me on the front stoop tonight. We are going to review Life. What is it? Life After Death.
Yes.
With Biggie. The Notorious B.I.G. Life After Death. We are going to review that album. We'll do a classic review tonight. So it should be pretty dope, man. Make sure that you join us. I'm about to put the link in the chat to make sure that you guys join us for this show tonight. And we'll be on for about an hour, I guess. And we'll listen to some I got some independent music as well. So we'll listen to some independent music, review that a little bit. The whole 9 yards, man. Check me out on the front stoop as we do a classic review of Biggie's Life After Death. Talk about that. Rest in peace to the Notorious B.I.G. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Let me get some last words from you real quick, Guillermo. And
unfortunate, man. I really don't have any words, man. Just patiently waiting. Hopefully Gobert and Moutier are perfectly fine. All the soccer players who got affected. Anybody's getting affected, man. Hopefully everybody turns out fine. Hopefully it's just a exercise in human panic, the effects of pandemonium or whatever. But hopefully everybody's fine, So
yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully, they're two young, healthy guys, so I'm thinking they should be fine.
Yeah,
they're both young, healthy, so I think they should be fine. Evergreen, you want to give us some last words, man?
Peace to the Knicks family. I hope everybody's gonna be good, just like everybody else. With the whole aspect of washing your hands, that's kind of done with right now. So, hide your kids, hide your wife is essentially what we're getting at. Just everybody stay safe and be very alert. Just kind of stay in tune with your bodies. Don't overreact to the NBA. Canceling all the games right now because this is a huge billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar investment that they have going on here. They really want to, we could say they're trying to do their best to protect their players, but they're really trying to protect the brand right now. And the last thing they need is to have, players, essentially meet their demise because of trying to meet a contractual obligation of playing basketball. So, just people stay patient. Make sure you continue to tune in to MBK. If you haven't already hit that like button, make sure you do that right now. Because as you know, if there's not going to be that many games, that means, Sim is going to be spinning on these things every now and again, so you don't want to miss them. All right.
That's it, man.
Peace and love to the chat. Peace and love to Knicks fans, and we're gonna turn this thing around. I'm here to talk you off a ledge. All right, that's my job. Tune into the front stoop right after this. I'll probably tune in. I'll probably be here, Sim. So I don't know what the chat is. Everybody say hi to Isaiah. It looks like he just now waking up. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he is.
There he goes.
All right, let me get Isaiah to say his last words, man, before he takes his last words for the night. Go ahead, Isaiah, man. Say your last words, and then you can go to sleep. But we are getting on the front stoop, though. But go ahead.
Oh, the front stoop, I don't got the strength for that tonight.
I know you don't. Go ahead, real quick, man. Give us some last words, real quick.
Last words, man. Listen, man. RJ Barrett, he's here. Let's be safe, people. Listen, Sam, I don't care if I get the virus. I have to smack Guillermo one time. If I get the virus, I'll be satisfied if I smack Guillermo because he talks a lot of junk. I'm going to whoop his, I like Evergreen, but Evergreen, don't do that again, man. Let me sleep. Just let me sleep every day. Just let me sleep, man.
All right, man. Let me let you go, man. You just mumbling, man. You still asleep. Gomes, go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you go ahead and get your last words in, then I'm gonna come to Nick. Go ahead, Gomes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, stay safe, everyone, and don't panic. Just don't do stupid things. Just chill out. And also, also I wanted to talk about the market also as you were talking. So if you take the stock market, it is just the reflection of the. If you take the stock market, it's just the reflection of the debt market and the options and futures markets. So both of those markets are double and triple in value when compared to stock market. So you should actually look at them. Many of the bonds are failing, especially the B tier bonds.
Okay.
So watch out, guys. Especially the 401k pensions, all of those depend on debt and bond markets, not the stock market itself.
Okay. All right. Good advice for us, man. Good advice for us. Nate, give me your first and last words, man, because I'm about to head over to the front stoop.
2020, man, it's something so far, man. You know, it started with Kobe's death, and now with the coronavirus, and oh man, hopefully we get a break, man, and things really start turning around. But hey, kudos to Adam Silver for canceling the rest of the games. I mean, hey, it's all about protecting the players, and if it means, they don't play 19 meaningless games unless you're in the A seed or something like that, I'm okay with that, players' health first and foremost. So yeah, so we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna have the playoffs or what they're gonna do. I think March Madness is gonna be canceled. So yeah, man, a lot of crazy stuff going on. Just wash your hands, and somebody's sick, tell them to stay the hell home.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let me get on over here, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys for being here with me. But don't worry, we're still gonna have Knicks content coming. Trust me. We're gonna have a lot of Knicks content coming because we still got players that we can break down as we inch closer to the draft. And I'm pretty sure even though we have this situation, there'll be some sort of draft, right? Even if the draft has to be done online, right? And they call the players' names and nobody comes up. I don't know, but there'll be a draft still. So we'll be able to break down players for the draft. Leon Rose is still going to hire a coach. He's still going to hire a GM. Free agency is still go. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about with the Knicks. So don't worry. We're still going to be here and in effect. All right. So, we'll still be doing, we're going to look and see what's going on with the remainder of the NBA. But we'll be here live and in effect. But anyway, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Join me over at the front stoop. I put the link in the chat several times. Okay. Several times. Well, we're going to break down the Notorious B.I.G. and life after death. Rest in peace to Biggie Smalls as he, the anniversary of his death was just a couple of days ago. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Please be safe. Make sure you take all the advice that you can. Get all the knowledge you can about this coronavirus and keep yourself safe. Wash your hands. Hit the elbow bump or just salute somebody instead of shaking hands at this moment. Make sure you wash your hands for 20 minutes and all that good stuff. I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful.
That's the G.